Hi Denise, thank you for the opportunity to come and discuss with us. I know you have a great experience in wellness programs and more than 15 years. What else can you tell us about you?
I came from a diverse background. So I came to wellness almost by accident.
Mm-hmm.
I started with health insurance companies here in the U.S. I started there, and wellness kind of cut its teeth with some of the health insurance companies, and I was very fortunate to start with a large health insurer, helping to research and develop and implement wellness programs for a large population. And then from there, I learned quickly how much more rewarding it would be to work with employers, because let's face it, most of us spend a number of hours every day in our jobs. So bringing wellness to employees was going to be a win-win for everybody. And, so working with insurance as well as benefits and in working with employees and employers. And then I started getting questions from other employers about how do you do wellness in different environments. So I started my own company to consult with companies to help them better do this. There was really an insurgence of wanting to have healthier employees. And for some of the manufacturing companies that I worked with, it was harder to do, it was harder to achieve. And being I had experience doing that, I was very, very fortunate to be able to work with a number of different companies. Mainly in North Carolina to bring this. Mm-hmm. And so I've been able to watch wellness come from its infancy all the way up to now, where it's very, very common for most employers to actually have that. So my background, I actually in my undergrad I majored in sociology, so I have a passion for people. So I think what I bring is a little bit of industry, a little bit of people, and a whole lot of passion for the topic.
I'm curious, how did the corporate wellness industry look like 10 years ago?
It was, it's probably even more than 10 years, because even in 10 years, really, it's taken
20
off.
years then.
Yeah, let's think about it from 20 years ago, right? So when you asked a company, oh yes, we do corporate wellness, they'd offer flu shots, and that's it. Well, wellness has taken on
apples.
Right, exactly. Or the apples on the table. Yes, I have a wellness program. Here's your apples. So, we've seen it become sort of a haphazard, we'll do flu shots or we'll give our employees screenings, to programs that are actually designed to be measured and designed to have an impact and studied so that the employers know that not only are they bringing this to employees, but it's making a difference in their health, in their presenteeism, reduced absenteeism. So I think what you saw 20 years ago was less formal. And now, really, these are truly business programs. They take design and strategy and need to be aligned with corporate goals. So I think that's what you see. And now, as we go forward, we're seeing wellness move so much from health to well-being, which is different. Because now we're looking at not only are you happy and do you feel good, but are you mentally happy? Are you fiscally happy? Or do we have family life balance? So wellness is kind of blooming into really something so much bigger than I think it was ever anticipated 20 years ago.
Wow. What is your advice for a company that never invested in wellness programs, and where should they start?
You start with, just like you do anything, any corporate business is going to start with analyzing the health and wellness of their employees as it is. Most companies in the United States have health insurance, and they can actually find out from their health insurance provider kind of a general idea of what their medical claims experience is. And what that tells them is how healthy or how sick are our employees. You can also, there's also ways to do it you can do surveys, and you can talk to your employees and kind of get an idea of, would a wellness program work? Is it something that your culture supports? So really, just like any project, you need to find out where you're starting. And that tells you where you want to go. If you're a blue-collar company and you know that your employees, aren't seeing their doctor unless there's something really, really wrong, then you start with trying to get them to get more more frequent and necessary medical care, that preventive care that's so important. If you're an architecture firm and all of your employees are already doing that, then it's a different approach. Maybe that company needs to focus on, okay, well, yes, they're all seeing their doctor, but they're sitting at their desk for 6-7 hours straight and not getting up and moving. So that's where you kind of focus. So just like anything.
Depending on the industry also.
It depends on the industry, but it's so funny. The larger companies get, the more they encompass more than one type of employee. Even blue-collar companies have an executive suite with folks who are going to have different needs than their rank-and-file employees. So you really start kind of analyzing where you are, and then you kind of design your program based on the needs of those particular groups.
Okay, super. Of all the programs implemented by you over time, is there one that applies and works in any company?
No. I would love to sit here and say that I've done the exact same wellness program or consulted with companies that we would use the exact same wellness program. I can sit here and say not one has it ever been exactly the same. Have there been common elements? Yes, there are always common elements. I'm a big believer in trying to get your employees to have an annual physical, having that once a year touch point with a physician. But honestly, every company is so different. Companies are like people. They have their own attitudes and personalities and what they're good at and what they're not good at. And, it's you take a different approach. It's a very different approach, even, to manufacturing companies. I've got one where they're doing the screenings and they're doing their annual physicals, but it's a little harder to get them engaged in other things. Got another manufacturing company that every month we do a different wellness incentive and a different wellness activity, and they're so into it. It's almost as if we could probably do 2 a month if we had to. So it just depends on the company, and it's your own journey. You have to kind of make your own path for this.
Thank you. What were the mistakes you made in implementing?
That's easy. That's easy because if most of us who work with people, if we see something that doesn't work, we take it really hard. I take it really hard if I see a program not work. I can tell you consistently, I assume never do that. I assume that this is what a company needed, or I assumed that employees would react a certain way, and I didn't ask. I needed to ask. I needed to find out what was really going to motivate people. And if I ever have something that really just kind of falls on its face, it's because I missed that step. And it's easy to do because you're in front of the executives and they want a program now and they want you to design it and they want to get it started. And sometimes you forget, okay, well, this is what that group of people wanted, but if you didn't ask the folks who are on third shift who work at different hours, or if you didn't ask the folks who are middle management or the folks, even the cleaning crew, I mean, you have to get feedback from all of the different people that you're gonna impact. Of all the mistakes I've made, it has stemmed from not from a lack of desire to do it right, but from a lack of the patience it takes to ask all the right questions.
And
communication. I mean, there's not many topics that most people would say we need to focus more on. We need to be better communicators. And it's the same when you're designing a wellness program. You better know who you're designing for.
Super. In Romania, there is no link between cost of medical insurance and wellness program. What would you still recommend? Would you still recommend a corporate wellness program?
Oh, yeah. Do you guys hire people?
Yeah.
Come on. Let's face it. It doesn't matter if you have health insurance or not. Your common... The thing that brings us all together is we hire people to do work for us, to get us from one place to another. We have to motivate those people. We have to know that they come to work happy, healthy, and ready to work. If we're not promoting wellness among people, we have them 8 to 10 hours a day. Whether we like it or not, it's a crazy family, but it's a family when we bring these people to work for us. And just like we would care for our parents or care for our animals or care for our children, we need to care about one another and know that we're not cogs in a machine. And people are much more complex than that. And what wellness programs does is help meet them where they are and help them feel better and know that we know you're not just a piece of this company, you're an integral part of this company. We want you to feel well. We want you to know that we want to make sure that you have all your questions, that you do get the medical care that you need, because you still have medical care. It's just funded differently. It sounds like a really big difference, but really at the end of the day, it's a money difference and where it's coming from. But the goal is still the same: happy, healthy employees that show up, are productive, and want to be there. They're going to make more money for you than the employees who are not feeling well, sick, and very worried about their families.
Why would you recommend a corporate wellness certification? Let's speak about the certification now a little bit.
Well, the certification came about because, I'd been in the industry a while, and I remember going and talking to different companies, and we had the same concept, we're using different lingo. We were trying to get to the same place, but people still were trying to put together the building blocks of what makes a wellness program. And we'd have some people that would just, like we had talked about, just do flu shots. And then others who would just do screenings, or others would just put that basket of apples on the table without anybody kind of coming together looking at best practices. What the certification does is it helps educate these new people coming into the wellness realm for their employers to kind of look at all the different building blocks that really make a good program. So much of the wellness certification is more about program and project management and people motivation than it even is wellness. But you have to know how to do these things. If you're trying to go to a company and you want to do a wellness program, your CFO wants to know why. We teach these people, why would you do a wellness program? What are the benefits of doing it? And then not only why, but the how. How do you go about this? What are the best practices? What have we seen other companies do that really work well? And I think the certification is unique in that it gives you your core foundation. And then the Corporate Health and Wellness Association brings in different during the conferences and even during some of their online webinars, where you take that foundation and you really start to build the building of your wellness. You get to you're actually building that program because you're learning the different pieces that can be added to it. The certification is not an ending; it's a beginning.
Super. What are the skills that a corporate wellness specialist needs?
I interview people and I talk to people all the time that are trying to get into wellness, and I have people that come to me, they've got a health insurance background, or this one's a nurse, or this one was a physical therapist, or this one was a personal trainer. What they need most of all is a passion for people. Bottom line, if you have a passion for people and you're willing to learn and understand how you create these programs and you motivate people to make the changes they need to make, you're going to be excellent at this. But if you're coming into wellness with the idea of this is how we're going to make money and we're going to put this program in place and make people do what we want them to do, you're going to fall flat very quickly. One of the things I say during my live certification trainings is a wellness program is something that you do for your employees, not to them. So if somebody comes into this where all they want to do is make sure that they save money on those claims, they're in the wrong business. This is the people business, and we need to be able. I can teach anybody to do wellness. I can't teach them to have a heart and a passion for people. Mm-hmm. So that's the only skill that I absolutely have to have, and a willingness to learn.
Let's speak about the return on investment. A little bit.
That's tough. But no, how quickly?
It's
I can
obtain a return on investment.
We can speak to that from a United States perspective. Studies have shown on and off all over. We see 3 to 1. For every dollar you spend, you're hoping to get a $3 return within 3 to 5 years. Okay, I have seen companies that have made that go more quickly. They've seen a return quite quickly, and where I find that the most is when we're dealing with a blue-collar company where the folks, they really aren't seeing their doctor and they're not getting the medical care they need. It's low-hanging fruit. You're educating people that are really wanting and needing the education. When you have a company where the folks are kind of doing the things they need to do, but you need to take wellness just another step, it's a little bit harder to have a return on investment because they're already doing kind of the things that cost health plans the most. Your investment will be there, but it may take a little bit longer to achieve. We don't get sick quickly with chronic conditions, and so we don't get well quickly either. It takes time and patience. So we usually see 3 to 5 years for a return on investment, and that's with the caveat of a well-designed program. You don't put the apples in the basket in the break room and expect a return on your investment. That is not a program.
Yes, you
right.
want.
You need to have it very well designed, and you really need to be sure that you know what's going to motivate your people.
Right. Should a company work with a corporate wellness provider to implement wellness programs, or should they do it by themselves?
Really depends on your situation. There are some companies where they can, if they want to do their program in such a way where it's very rewards based, they're not getting a lot of private health information, you can absolutely do wellness internally, and especially if you have a champion doing it. But there are other companies where if your benefits and human resources are tied together, there's going to be health questions, there's going to be health exams. It might be better to have a third party handle some of that. It takes away a little bit of some of the liability and some of the fear that people may have about privacy with their health information. Remember, we're dealing with sensitive information. We're asking people to trust us with this information and for them to actually make lifestyle changes that not everybody is comfortable with. Sometimes bringing a third party in that doesn't seem like the employer's being big brother can kind of help with that. I've seen very successful programs where they didn't have a third party, and I've seen others where a third party was wonderful. The only thing I caution with using a third party is make sure you've got the right partner. Make sure that you've got a partner that that you and your company are still engaged with them. It shouldn't be the third party's wellness program. It still needs to be your company's wellness program, and you need to have to be a big part of the design and the motivation and the heart and the soul behind it. If there's a representative from a third party always in front of your employees and you're not, you've just handed over the reins to one of the most important programs you're going to give your employees. You don't want to do that. Find balance between the two.
Okay. How do you see a corporate wellness industry in the future?
Oh gosh, I think it's going to expand into very different than what it's been in the past. I think the new generations that are coming want it to be so much more than just getting their medical care, because I think we've done as an industry a great job, really promoting the wellness and getting folks to do what they should do, seeing their doctor once a year, taking generic medications, taking their medications, and incorporating lifestyle. I don't think anybody now can sit here and say they don't know that they need to eat right and move more. But now it's about how do you internalize that and how do we motivate them. And sometimes that's through different things. Sometimes that's through bringing a bank on site to talk to them about financial wellness. There's going to be mental wellness. There's going to be, we're going to change our work sites to accommodate some of this. We have a very interesting phenomenon coming in here. We've got a lot of generations in the workforce, and we've got to motivate our young ones to stay with us and to invest in us, because we're going to invest in them. And yet we can't forget that we have older generations that they need that support too, in some ways even more. So I think I think we can see this as an opportunity to really find some common ground between everybody by offering new and innovative ways to do wellness. Bring that yoga instructor on site. Offer the healthy foods, offer that smoothie bar, offer the different desks, offer those things, and really show people how wellness is so much more than just going to the doctor.
Yeah. And is there a message for a corporate wellness specialist in Romania? And what is your message for them?
The message is the same one I would give here. You're doing this because you love people, and you know that by investing in people, it's going to help them be better as well as their companies be better. The message is pretty simple. Do it with heart and do it the right way, and don't rush it. And wellness absolutely has a place. Wellness is not tied to health insurance. Wellness is tied to people feeling better.
Thank you very much, Denise.
You're welcome.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.